And on your driver's license, tell me if it's the same thing like in Canada. On your driver's license, you have to declare, it declares if you need glasses or not. Yes. Is that the same thing here?
Yes.
I will not know. You all know why? I don't have a driver's license. I would have a clue. Yeah, so on her license, it said she needed glasses. So the police is looking at her license. She's like, lady, where are your glasses? She's like, well, officer, I have my contacts, you know. He's like, I don't care who you know. Where are your glasses? Communication, boy. You need good communication. It's like a guy went to his barber one time. And he saw the barber, he's holding this potion in his hands. And he's dancing. He's holding it and he's dancing, holding it, dancing. He's like, why are you doing that? Looking at that bottle and dancing. He's like, well, it said shake well before using. Oh my, you need good communication. Don't be like my guy who missed the 44 bus and he took the 22 bus twice just to make up. You know? That doesn't work. You need good communication. Even Lucy liked that joke. You need good communication, right? Yep. So one of the things that people have to learn is how to. Sometimes it's not what you say, but it's what. It's how you say it. Sometimes you need to learn to say it's not so much the message, but it's giving the message in a gentle, in a soft way. So this guy, he was a private in the army, and they were trying to kind of break him in and teach him how to be polite and a gentleman. So one of the sergeants, his mom died, and so they sent him, where the guys were gathered for lunch. All the sergeants said, go tell the sergeant and his mom died. He walked into the room. He said, Sergeant Peters, your mother, she's dead. He got a heart attack. He was so shocked. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And this guy, all he was is a messenger. I'm like, oh, but does he still have a job, So his captain said, look man, you cause a lot of distress. A week later, somebody else, another sergeant, his mom died also. So the guy said, this captain said, look, I want you to go in there. Don't mess up like you did the last time. This time around, be gentle. Be thoughtful. This is grief you're dealing with. So he walks into the room where all the sergeants were. He said, all the sergeants in here who has a mother, please stand up. He said, Sergeant Timmons, you sit down, please. You sit down, please. You sit down. He did. He found the gentle way to say it, you know what I mean? He found the gentlest way. I'm like, he's not my messenger. Nope, that won't work. That will not work. But let me tell you something. Communication, man. The better you can communicate, some of you now catching it, right? No, catching it. It was a 3-minute delayed. You think I'm calling from Russia or something? Delayed phone service? No, getting it. Communication, man, it would break or make you. Because misunderstanding is something else. One time I was doing the laundry, right? And my wife is always on me because, man, when I was single life has a lot of benefits. You all don't know. Let me tell you of something. When I was single, I would just put all the clothes together because I'm colorblind, It doesn't even bother me. But when I got married, my wife was on me. She's like, no, you have to separate them and you have to put them by different fabric. I'm like, what? Are you serious? There's such a thing? So I'm doing the laundry. I'm like, well, I'm gonna be, a good man and do the laundry. I'm doing the laundry and it's like, so I asked my wife, I said, well, what do I do with this one? She's like, well, what does it say? It says University of Victoria. She's like, no, is it cotton? I said University of Victoria. So communication, you really have to be so clear. You have to take your time to understand before you are even understood. Isn't that the truth? Time, and I was waiting for someone to escort me to my plane, and I said to the lady who had brought me at that point, I'm like, please don't forget me. She's like, no, I'll just tell them the guy with the striped shirt. I'm like, you Canadians are too nice. I'm the only black dude there, and she's telling me she's gonna say the guy with the striped shirt. Come on, come on. When I was getting married, we got married in Victoria. When my friends were coming to be picked up, they're like, some list friends were like, but give us pictures. No need to. Any black people you see in the airport are my friends. They're like 3 of us, you know? So you guys, your Prime Minister did a talk recently at Harvard, or one of those schools in Boston, and I like what he said. He said a lot of us just tolerate one another. He said tolerance is begrudgingly telling someone they have the right to exist. Begrudgingly accepting that someone has the right to exist. He's like, we need to love. I like that. I like that. So one time I was walking with a buddy, and this guy had a sign. A big sign. If you don't speak English, go back to your country. But the dummy had the sign in English. Good point. Very good point. So I walked up to him and I said to him, you are just dumb and stupid. But I said it to him in Spanish. He actually shook my hand. He thought it was a compliment. He's like, you're a good guy, I like you. I like you too, you know? But you know, what do you call it? And you know, it's so nice that they've outlawed it and so on. What do you call it? There's capital punishment, and then there's corporal, which is the one way where they used to hang people. Capital. And you're glad that those things, you know. So there was capital punishment in my country. You know, we're third world country, so don't mess around. We are gonna pop your neck. But what was good? What was really nice? What was nice and kind? What was nice and kind is before they hung these guys, they allowed them a last rite. You guys laughing at those guys? Shame on you. Let me ask you all. Does anybody know the song? There are 10 green bottles standing on a wall. You know that song? Yeah. How does it go? If one green bottle should accidentally fall, they'll be. Yeah, you all know the song. So one of the sweet things I like about our municipality is, even though they were still hanging people, at least they did it with dignity. They allowed everybody to have a last wish. And they said, you have to choose a song. So the first guy said, you know what I want? I want when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in, or when the saints go, boop, they popped his neck. He died when the saints go marching in. The second guy said, you know, I want swing low, sweet chariot. Swing low, sweet chariot. Boom! He died. They pumped his neck. The third guy, he said, you know what song I want? I want a billion green bottles standing on a wall. A billion green bottles standing on a wall. If one green bottle should accidentally fall, there'll be 99,000,099 green bottles standing on a wall. He died 3 years, 5 months later. My wife and I, we are celebrating in the next 2 weeks from Tuesday. We are celebrating our 24th anniversary. 24th anniversary. Thank you. That's our 24th month anniversary. 24th month anniversary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have staying power. Yeah. But you know, when I first got married, right? When I first got married, I'm like, well, you know what? Let me just tell my wife how it's gonna happen around here. Yeah. Yep. Sure. Yep. So I said to my wife, I said, you know, baby, I just want you to know that I am the boss of this house. And my wife is so sweet. She said, of course you are, as long as I'm not home. Those Canadian girls are tough, man. So I kind of forgot that she told me that. And a month later, I said, no, sweetheart, let me just let you know what time it is. I want you to understand that I run things around here. She's like, of course you do. You run the vacuum cleaner, you run the dishwasher, you run the microwave. Of course you run things around here. You would think I should have learned my lesson. I really thought I would have gotten married at 33. Because that's when Jesus laid down his life. I thought I would have followed him, right? Somebody says marriage is a very educational experience. So when a man gets married, he gives up his bachelor's and he gets his master's. Happens when you get married. Yeah. You can imagine when I was dating my wife, my father-in-law tells me a story, and he had me very uncomfortable with the story. He's like, he went to a wedding one time, and the minister said to the groom, I want you to put your hands on top of your wife's hands. And the groom said, okay, no problem. He puts his hands on top of his wife's hands. And the minister said to him, that's the last time you're going to have the upper hand. I'm like, why is my father-in-law telling me that? Come on and tell me what you got to tell me, man. Yeah. One guy went into a store, right? And a bookstore, and he says to the clerk, he says, where could I find a book that says man, master of the house? Oh, she said, go down in fiction and comics. You can find it over there. Yep, you can find it over there. You would think we'd learn our lessons, right? Yeah. But what I've learned, not just with marriage, but with all relationships, there's no boss. Especially when there's a foundation of love and give and take. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, love and give and take. All right, so another book I want to give away. So I want to gerontology. Anybody know what's gerontology? What's gerontology? The study of germs. No, the study of aging. All right, good. You got me. And so he always tested people for, if they're having memory losses or Alzheimer's or. So he came up with a little test, and he went to this nursing home, this senior facility, and he interviewed these 3 guys. He said, first guy, hey, how much is 2 plus 2? He said, 2 plus 2? 2 plus 2 is 77. I said, what? They went to the second guy and said, hey, how much is 2 plus 2? He said, well, that's easy. 2 plus 2 is Wednesday. Wednesday. So he gets to the third guy and he said, how much is 2 plus 2? He said, man, 2 plus 2 is 4. He said, whoa, how did you get that? I just minus Wednesday from 77. So it's really nice when I see these amazing gentlemen and women coming out and laughing themselves to life. So at this time, everybody, I want to give you guys a break. Be like the guy. He was hanging with these guys on the block. You know what's worse? Is people who have bad marriages counseling people. Bad marriages counseling people. So listen, I marry a couple of couples a year, right? Not too much, because my record has been spotless. Because if I don't think you're going to make it, I send you to another pastor. That's what I do all the time. My record is spotless. So what's crazy, sometimes I counsel couples and they're ready to tear each other apart, right? And this time I'm single, right? These are my single days, and they want to tear each other apart, even in front of me. And then when they're leaving, they're like, so pastor, what about you? When are you getting married? Well, based on you guys' example, never. Tear each other apart. But always crazy people giving people advice. So this guy went on the block, and his friends was telling him, man, let me tell you something, when you go home, you put your foot down. Don't let that woman talk to you any old way, you be the man. What did you tell me, Albert? Albert said, he is the boss of his house, and his wife told him to say that. Alfred, how you like that? Yeah. So this guy, the guy told him, put your foot down, man. No woman could talk to you any old way. So he goes home, right? said to his wife, he said, now let me tell you something. You see from now on, all those dishes, guess who's going to be washing them? He said, you see all those clothes on the bed, guess who's going to be washing them and ironing them? In fact, you see my showers from now on, guess who's going to be bathing me? And not only that, guess who's going to dress me? Finally, she spoke up. She said, the undertaker. I think he learned his lessons. Yeah, he was done after that. Yeah. So I have learned that in my house, wherever my wife tells me to help, I am helping. I'm not taking any chances. You know? I've always wanted to strive for love, not just in marriage, but in my friendship. You know, it's like one woman, Winston Churchill, he was behaving so badly one time. One woman walked up to him. She said, Churchill, if you were my husband, I would put poison in your teeth. Churchill looked at the woman. He said, if you were my wife, I would drink it. I am telling you, I would gobble that thing down, girl. Give me 2 cups, you know. Married to someone like you? Yeah. Give me 2 cups. Drink that thing. Yes, I learned I want peace in my house. Yeah, I want peace. I want my wife to love me. One guy was kind of sick. And you know, his wife went to the doctor, and he had gone to the doctor, and the doctor said, called for his wife. And the doctor said, well, it's really bad. It's really bad, but I think you could help. You could make a difference. He said emotionally, the stress is killing him. He said, the doctor said, but you could help. He doesn't need medication. You need to give him good loving every day. You need to feed him with really good food every day. I mean, you just need to tell him how great he is, how wonderful he is. Just do that, and he'll recover. So she gets into the car where her husband is, and he's like, well, what did the doctor say? What did the doctor say? She said, the doctor said you're going to die. You shall not live. You are going to die. Wow, I want my wife to love me. Yeah, I want to live, y'all. I don't know about you guys. You know, where I grew up, right? They had a thing where they said, grown men don't cry. Grown men don't cry. Well, I found out that is dumb. Because women outlive us. And they outlive us because they cry. And tears is the body's way of releasing toxins. That if you don't release it, it gives you ulcers and cancer and all sort of problems. So when I learned that, I'm like, I just started crying. I'm telling you. I don't want to die and have another man marry my wife. I just start crying. I'm like, I'm going to live really long. Live really long. You know, which is so much nonsense. You know, this one lady leaned over the fence and she said to her neighbor, hey, how was that pain in your neck? She said, oh, he went to work already. I don't want that to be my experience. How about you guys? Yeah. And what I don't want, what I've always not wanted, I don't want to have, I love in all relationships, I love practicing forgiveness and repentance. Cycles. Yeah. You really have to learn in all your relationships, your co-workers, somehow let it go, man. Because let me ask you all this. You have a big problem, and I do this in counseling all the time. Ask the couple, okay, you want to kill each other. Let me ask you this. Would this actually matter tomorrow? All right, would it matter next week? What about next month? You know, look at the big picture, right? You know? But some people are not like that. So this older lady, she stole a can of peaches. And, she was in court, and the judge, trying to be lenient, he said, you know what? How many peaches were in that can? She said, only 5, Your Honor. He said, you know what? You're going to spend a day in prison for every peach in that can. An old guy jumped up. He said, my wife stole a bag of rice. That was 14 years and 6 months. And it was a big bag of rice, you know. Yeah, I don't want to be vengeful. I don't like. Some people like living out the 11th commandment. You all know what's the 11th commandment? Do unto others before they do unto you. I don't want to do that. I want to live in love. He's like this one guy. One time, I went with my buddy, right, to the cemetery. He wanted to go plant some flowers by his mom's grave. And we saw this guy. This guy was bawling. He was weeping. He was like inconsolable. And you know, you want to be kind. I gave him his space. I said, I'm going to just go over and chat with him a little bit. I'm like, man, I'm so sorry, man. I'm thinking that his wife died or I don't know, but he was just bawling. I'm like, so when he finally, you know, gathered himself, I'm like, well, who died? Who died? He said, my wife, ex-husband. If he didn't die, I would not be in this mess, you know. But he was bawling. He's like, why did you leave? Why is he doing that, you know? But let me tell you what I've learned. Oh, I need to give away one more book. Is that the truth? Yeah, but I wanted to wait until you guys buy some first before I give this one. You want to just lose a sale like that? That wouldn't make sense. It's bad business, right? Yeah, make sure you guys buy some. So he's dating, right? And he says to her, he said, do you like cooking? She's like, oh, I love that. Do you like being a stay-at-home mom? Oh, I've been dreaming about that. And as he's talking to her and she's answering yes for everything, he's seeing wings on her back. He's like, wow, it's an angel. So finally he said to her, do you have any faults? She's like, yeah, I like to impress people. Because everybody's normal till you get to know them, right? Yeah. But one of the issues I have seen is people who like impressing people. A lot of times we spend money we don't have to impress people. We spend money we don't have. We buy things we cannot afford to impress people who don't even like us. Isn't that a mess? Yeah. Because we're impressionists. No, let me tell you how males and females differ, especially as boys, right? It's natural for us, but I think when we are grown-ups, we mess it up. So boys bond when they compete. Girls bond when they collaborate. So like you say to two little girls are talking and one girl says, my dad is a policeman. She's like, whoa, my dad is a policeman too. No, she don't even really have dad. Why is she lying? But she's not lying, she's bonding. Right? That's how girls bond. Boys, on the other hand, they compete. If you say your dad is a policeman, he said, well, my dad is actually the superintendent, you know, of the whole police department of the mainland. That's British Columbia. They compete. So these guys were fishing. It's bad that when you are grown-ups and you're doing the same old mess. These two guys went fishing and they were bragging. One guy said, man, let me tell you something. One time my father went fishing. He caught a fish big like this boat. He's like, whoa, really? The other guy said, man, that's a joke. He said, you see that fish your dad caught? My dad used a fish that size as bait for the fish he caught. You know? Lying! That's what they're doing, lying. And so a lot of times we compete with each other. Like one time when I first moved to America, this girl from Trinidad was visiting and I said, girl, I'm gonna take you to Windows on the World. Windows on the World is the restaurant. I think Vancouver has something like that. It's the restaurant that used to be on top of the World Trade Center. It spins around and you can see the entire city. You all ever been there in Vancouver? I've never seen it before. Yeah. So I took her to Windows on the World. And then, you know, I'm a student, right? I remember what happened to me. I used to talk into my pockets and my voice would echo, right? Remember those days? So I looked at the menu. Whew. I'm like, baby, we're going to McDonald's. I said, but when you go back to Trinidad, you tell them that Dex took you to Windows on the World. If they ask you what you got, none of your business. Right? So what I was doing is bragging, right? Bragging. So which is not good. It's like I was selling encyclopedias, one of my first jobs. And I went to this lady and she's like, Dex, I can't afford no encyclopedias. She said, but listen, I'm going to tell you how to get a sale. You go by the neighbor and you tell her I bought a set, she's going to buy from you. I will not tell you guys what I did. I will not tell you. Yeah. But people are always doing that. So bragging. So this one American guy came to my country. Where's my country again? Trinidad. Yeah, thank you for remembering. People hear my accent and they think I'm from Jamaica. I said, no, I'm not from Jamaica, I'm from Trinidad. And then they'll be like, what part of Jamaica is that? No part of Jamaica. Right. So look at this. So he comes to Trinidad, right? This American guy. And he's coming, he's bragging and he's boastful, right? So the Trinidadian guy shows him the Holiday Inn. The American say, hey, what building is that? The Trinidadian guy said, well, that's the Holiday Inn. The American said, well, how long y'all took to build that? The Trinidadian guy said, well, it took us like, Trinidadian guy's trying to brag, right? He's like, it took us like 1.5 years to build a building like that. The American said, where I come from in America, it'll take us 6 months to build a building like that. So you know that the Trinidadian realized that the next building he shows him, he needs to do what? Help me out. He needs to lessen down on the time, what? What? They took to build it, right? So they got to the Hilton, right? The American said, whoa, lovely building. How long y'all took to build that? The Trinidadian said, man, it took us 4 months to build a building like that. The American said, where I come from in America, it'll take us a month to build a building like that. So the Trinidadian realized that the next building he shows him, what does he need to do? Yeah. Less time, right? So they were passing by the tallest building in the Eastern Caribbean. It's called the Twin Towers. 22 stories. So the Trinidadian, the Americans say, whoa! Look at this building! The Trinidadian said, but what are you talking about? So the American said, look, that building right there. Behind you, the American said, how long y'all took to build that one? The Trinidadian said, wait. When we were passing this morning, that building wasn't there. This was passing. And he's like, Mr. Trinidadian, you like to lie too much. He said, in Barbados, I was walking, going to work one morning, and I saw them building a building. And when I was going home, they were evicting people for not paying rent. But it's really, really important. I believe that one of the ways you are successful and you learn content is when you don't compete. It's when you don't compete. It's when you learn to live in contentment and peace for who you are and what you have. Isn't that the truth? Yes. Now one of the things I love about being married to my wife is I love this biracial thing. That's kind of neat. I like it. Ruby, thank you for being part of our club. Well, you were ahead of us, right? I just love this. Gloria and Alfred, you guys are trendsetters. Thank you so much. 60 years of marriage. You know, and I thank you that you didn't take us to Europe on your 25th anniversary. Yeah, I love that. I just love this biracial thing. You know, it's amazing learning just other cultures. So I went to my wife's church when we were dating. And it was so beautiful. They were singing, heard them singing Amazing Grace. They were like, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I've never known what to do with that part of the song. What am I supposed to sing? So I told my wife, I'm like, wow, this is so touching. You need to come visit my church now. She's like, yes, is it the same thing? I'm like, the exact same thing. Nothing will be different. They sing the songs the same way, you know? And then my wife came to my church, and then there's the black church in South Florida. And then the praise and worship leader, he's singing Amazing Grace. He's like, amazing, sing grace, my Lord, how sweet the God, the sound. Let me tell you something that said, oh, a wretch, help me, Holy Ghost. But let me teach you a lesson that I learned, but now I didn't even know what hit the poor child. I'm like, honey, welcome to the black church. I'm like, Liz, you went to see what they do with come down font of every blessing. Wait till you hear them sing blessed assurance. You can't even call it Amazing Grace anymore. You gotta call it another name. But I just love mixing cultures. But let me tell you something. Ending like I ended at the house of James. My mother-in-law told me to give that same joke again, right? But let me tell you something. You know, God has, I don't know what faith tradition you are. You guys stop it. Y'all are just too hilarious. I don't know what faith tradition you're from. I don't know if you have a faith tradition. It doesn't matter to me. But let me tell you something. People are always asking me, Dex, you're born blind. You've had so many setbacks. How in the world you still remain positive, man? Because, well, I don't like negativity. Some people are so negative. You put them in a dark room, they'll develop. You know what I mean? I don't like negativity. But to be honest, I've been blessed with so many successes. I was able to retire. I run around the country. I do shows like this. It doesn't, you know, just trying to give back in some kind of ways. But let me tell you why. The reason is I've received grace. That's the truth. I found and was introduced to a God that loves me in spite of my mess. I found a God that is not mad with me, but he's mad about me. I found a God that is not interested in burning me in some oven forever and ever and ever, but he is dying. No, he died so that I can have a second chance at life. And that's the grace that I live for. That's what keeps me positive. It's what keeps me giving back. Whenever I travel to other countries, and they bring me to do a motivational talks, they pay me well, but I step away from it and I go find a prison to speak at, or I go find a homeless shelter. Always want to, because what grace does, grace makes us gracious. Yes. Makes us gracious. It changes our life. Regardless of your faith, your belief, your religion, it's life-changing to know that somebody bigger than me immensely cares for me. Amen. And I want to leave that with you today. I want to leave you with that. That remember, I don't just want to make you laugh, but I want to give you joy. And that spring or fountain of joy comes from when you know the joy giver. When you know the joy giver. So everybody, I want to thank you so much for being here tonight.